So let's start using multiple inheritance. We have just seen how we can define a vampirical knight class that inherits multiply from vampire and knight, or in our class hierarchy, vampirical knight inherits from vampire and knight in this order. Okay, it will be very important in multiple inheritance where does a class that is inheriting from more than one class get its methods from. And to see this, let's just have a quick recap about how that worked when we had single inheritance, okay, on this branch of the tree where everyone just inherits from one class and one class only. And you have many details here, but I will just go through this very quickly in this video, but do have a read at the notebook and at the mentioned references in it. Okay, so when I had just repeated inheritance and I did not have multiple inheritance, if I called a method in my paladin class that I did not have in my other classes, such as the, let's see, the paladin class. In the paladin class I did not have, sorry, this is the RPG, the vampire, knight, and the paladin. Okay, so I did not have much. For example, I do not have an init method. Okay, so when I call the init method here, I will go and see if it's there. It's not there, so then I will go up the tree hierarchy, the class hierarchy tree. Okay, and I will go to the knight class. Does the knight class have an init method? Yes, it does. Okay, and as it happens, its knight class also calls the super class method. So as it happens, I will find the method here, but it will also call the method, the init method on this class. Okay, in any case, whenever I'm looking for a method that I don't have in single repeated inheritance, I go up the tree, and that's not a problem. What happens when I have more than one parent classes, when I have multiple inheritance? Because now I cannot go up the tree if I have not defined, for example, the init method, because I haven't defined any method at all here. What will Python do in this case? Well, it will explore the classes higher up than I am in the class hierarchy, and these are these three here in this case, in depth first search order. They're depth first order. Okay, so in this case it will be that it will first explore the vampire class, it will then explore the knight class, and then it will explore the RPG character class. Okay, so the order for exploration is depth first search order. Okay, so I will go to the level before me and I will explore the classes from left to right as I have written them in my class definition here. So first vampire and then knight, because those are the definitions that I have in my class. Those are the ones that define my order in this level. Okay, in the explanation here you will also see that everyone is dependent, everyone extends, everyone is a subclass of something called an object. That's a class like everyone's father class, which I'm not stopping now, but you can have details here in the notebook too. Okay, so basically when I explore classes, when I have repeated inheritance, single inheritance, I just go up the tree and there is no main difficulty there. And when I have multiple inheritance, I use depth first search order. And I have to say too that I never repeat a class, because as a graph, when I have multiple inheritance, I can have cycles, and that could mean that I could enter a loop. So Python keeps track of the classes that it has visited, and if some class can be reached through more than one path, then it's only visited once. depth first search in the case of multiple inheritance and no class is visited twice. Okay, so that's all nice and good for the theory, but let's see an example. Okay, have run this very unassuming code line that defines a variable of type, an object of type vampirical night. It gives it a name and 4 values. Okay, the strength, the dexterity, the maximum hit points, and it also gives it an armor value. Okay, and then it prints it. Okay, what init method did I call? Let's see, let's go to the vampirical night class. Does this have an init method defined? No, it does not, because it doesn't have anything at all defined. Okay, so no init method for me here. Who should I see then? What class higher up in the class hierarchy should I explore now? First, the vampire class. Let's check that one. Vampire is here. Okay, let's check. Oh, it does not have an init method either. Okay, so I have come from here to here and now have to keep exploring. Which one do I do? This one or this one? Well, because this was depth first search, I explored first this one, and now I have to explore this one. And if I don't find the init method here, I will go up here. But if I go to the night class, that one, sorry, night, that one does have an init method. And as I said a moment ago, it also does happen to call the superclass, but it has an init method itself, so I call this init method, and that's why I need the 4th parameter and the armor and so on and so forth. So with this definition that was empty but gave me the order of my superclasses, and this simple line where I just create one object, I have done all of that traveling in my class hierarchy tree. I can also print. When I print and just give you an object, Python then looks for the str method in the corresponding classes. Str method, is it in the vampirical night class? No, because there are no methods in the vampirical class. Let's go to vampire. Does vampire have a string method? Okay, no again. So then next one is night, and this one has a string method, and that is why string method that says something about the night, and that is why when I print this and call the string method here, I get this message: behold a mighty magpie with strength 10, 37, 9 hit points, a knight with 6 armor. This is the part where I realize that I have called the string method in the night class. Okay, that's where all the methods come from, and we can just also use this to define a character, just as I have define a paladin like I did last session, this Rando the Humble, and then use the static method in the RPG character class for combat, and see that I can call this method and see what happens. Okay, and well, have a look and see exactly where all of these things come from. We have seen these two, but you can see where all of these come from too, as a nice exercise. Let's run the code again, and we will see that Magpire is a knight, as can be seen from this call to the string method, but it also deals damage like a vampire, or receives damage from like a vampire. For example, in this case, the paladin type character deals 1 damage, and then the vampire reels from the magic damage. Okay, we can probably see if Magpire hurts poor old Rando that the vampire gets larger. So this vampirical knight character with an actually empty definition is presenting all the characteristics of the vampire and the knight class. So this shows me how powerful multiple inheritance is. I can codify complex behavior by just inheriting from different classes.